Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Wynot, and welcome to this webinar. Just give me a second here. We'll be sharing my screen with you, and then we'll get started and get underway. So this is the webinar, and I thank you for taking the time to join me and listen to this webinar, whether you're on this live webinar or you're watching a recording of this live webinar. I thank you for taking the time out to be here with me today. So the webinar is about Google Analytics, and this all came about because I was talking with one of my clients this week, and I asked them, do you have Google Analytics on your website? And they said that they do, but they don't really know what to do with it. And that sparked the idea in my head that, hey, there's probably a lot of other people out there in the exact same boat where their web designer, or maybe they did it themselves by the direction and advice of someone else, put Google Analytics on their website, or in the worst case, maybe you don't even have it. And I strongly suggest that you do, and after listening to this webinar and seeing what I show you, you'll see the benefit of doing so. So when you signed up for this webinar, it looked somewhat like this, and again, I thank you for doing that. Now, we have two companies here, and the first one is Blue Cow Creative. And if you're on Facebook, what I ask you to do is just show your appreciation for us putting out this free information by giving us a like on our page. So I'm just going to actually post here that this webinar is live so that people can watch it if they're online right now. So facebook.com/Blue Cow Creative, and check us out there. Click like, and that's where you'll hear about other upcoming webinars that are happening. So what are we going to be covering today? Well, we're going to be covering Google Analytics. And what exactly is Google Analytics? Now, let's break it down a little bit further with analytics, and that is the collection of statistics based around someone's behavior. And in this case, it's the behavior of the visitors that come to your website and what do they do when they come there. And that's just a minor part. What we really want to focus on is, for example, where are they coming from? That is going to be very important. And the reason that's important is you're probably spending quite a bit of money on advertising and promoting your website and trying to drive traffic to that. Now, if you just have one collective pot where everybody's coming to the main page of the website, you're going to look at your hit counter or your visitation counter, and that's going to go up, obviously, because people are coming there. But if you can't segment and figure out where they're coming from, you really have no idea if the advertising you're spending in certain locations to drive traffic there is actually working. And is it giving you a return on investment? And that's going to be key, ROI. Because let's say you run a $100 Facebook campaign where you're boosting your page and you're trying to get people to come to your website from there. Well, if you don't know that the traffic hitting your site is coming from Facebook, you don't know if that's really worth the money. And let's say you run another billboard ad somewhere and you have a special URL on there. So maybe it's www.abccompany.com/special offer. If you do that, you're then able to see where the traffic is coming from. So do you see what I'm getting at here? You're able to validate the money that you're spending to drive traffic there. So that's one thing. The next thing you're going to be able to do with Google Analytics is find out what were people searching for when they found you. And that's going to be key because we're all focusing on keywords and how do we write our content so that it's being found in an organic search. An organic search is when somebody types in a phrase or a sentence and they're getting your website coming up because it has content relating to what they're looking for. So what are people putting into Google searches to find your website? And it'll be able to tell you that, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Lastly, one of the other key things that I want to show you, and we're going to show you some other things too, is once they get to your website, what do they do? Okay, once they get to your website, what do they do? What pages are they looking at? And then where are they going from there? Or what we call the bounce rate, are they just coming to your website and are they just leaving without doing anything? And we'll show you how to figure that out as well. So if you don't have Google Analytics, how do you get there? It's easy. Go to google.ca/analytics and sign up for a free account. We're not going to show you how to sign up for the free account because it's pretty easy. But once you get in there, what you're going to do is you're going to need to add it to your website. I'm going to show you that first. Now, I've already got it added to my website, But what you're going to see is basically you're going to be asked to add what's called a property according to Google. I'm just going to go here to create a new property, and I'll show you what happens. So you're going to get to this screen right here, and it's going to say new property. So we're going to be dealing with a website instead of a mobile app, and it's going to say, what is the website name? And this part here is required, but it's only for your own knowledge, because under your Google Analytics account, you can track the statistics on multiple websites that you own. You don't have to set up a new account for each one. So just write down the name of the website so you know what it is. So in this case, it would be Blue. And what's the website URL? So www.bluecowcreate. Now, if you're going to be using like subdirectories, for example, /promo, you don't really need to put that in here. You want to put in what we call the root URL, which would be the main website, and it will tell you that. This stuff here, you can put it in if you want. Doesn't really matter, but put in your time zone and your country. So in this case, we're Canada. And we are on the East Coast. I'm going to choose Halifax. And then you would go create tracking ID. And now I'm not going to do that because I already have it. But I'm going to jump back and show you what the tracking ID looks like. So we're going to discard those changes. And we're just going to go and bring up mine for the company. We're going to go admin, tracking info, tracking code. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get this little snippet of code that'll come up next. Now this is key. This is what you need to highlight and copy, and you need to put it into your website. And depending on the website that you have, there's different ways that you can do that. Now I highly recommend that WordPress is a great platform to use. So we're going to flip over here to our website, and I've already put the WordPress site into edit mode so that we can actually go in and I can show you where you can put that. So depending on the theme that you have installed, under the theme options, there may be a field for Google Analytics, and what they want you to put in that, and it will be empty, is that code that belongs to Google Analytics right here that they give you. So you're just going to copy and paste it in here and hit save. If the theme you have does not have this, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put it into the header of your website. And to do that, you need to go to Appearance and Editor to get into where you can edit the code. And you're going to look on the right-hand side. You're going to look for Header. And what you'll do is you'll scroll down until you can find, let me just find it here quickly. See if this one has it. Okay, so you're going to look for this tag right here, which is going to be bracket / or / head. And you're going to want to paste that code in this area right here. So you're going to copy this to the clipboard, and you're going to paste it in there. Make sure you don't break any of the code above, or you don't go after the header here. Once you do that, click Update File, and that's going to put that tracking code on every page of your website. Now I don't need it because I have that other part that's already part of my website, so I'm just going to remove that and click Update. Once you're done, your Google Analytics account will start to collect data about people visiting your website, and we'll show you how much data it actually collects and how you can read this information. So once you're set up and you log in, most people will only have one website. So when they log in, they're going to go right to the statistics, and this is what you're going to see. Mainly, a lot of this information is going to be consistent no matter when you log in. Now, Google may update this depending on when you're watching this webinar, but keep in mind that the information is going to be very important to know what each element is part of. So what you're seeing here is a variety of statistics based on a time frame. And by default, Google makes it 1 month from the date you're logged in. So we're doing this on August 27th. It's going to look from July 28th to August 27th. If you want to change that, you can go in here and you can change your date range. But we're going to use these analytics right here just for the sake of this. What you're seeing in this nice little graph is how many visitors have come to your website on that particular day, and they term this as sessions. So how many people have open sessions on your site? And you can go and put your mouse over it, and you can see those date ranges that are here. Now, for the sake of showing you the best data possible, I've got permission. I'm going to use the statistics from one of my client sites. So I'm just going to go back here, and they have a lot more traffic. They are a retail mall outlet. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them in here. They're using the same date range, obviously, because we're in here at the same time. So we've got higher peaks and lower valleys here. So we're looking at the total amount of sessions. That's how many times people have come to the website. And then we've got users. This is really key right here, because one person, one user, could come back several times that day and drive up the session numbers. And way back when, before anything like this came along, we were using hit counters on our website. And what that did is every time that page was loaded, the number went up. So it was not really a true statistic around how many people came to your website. So we've got the amount of users here, and that's going to be key. In that period, they have 1,323 users. And then how many page views? So if I came back twice to your website and hit the home page, I'm only going to register as one user, 2 sessions, and in this case, 2 page views. If I looked at 10 pages, I'm going to register 1 user, and if I did 10 pages each time, 2 sessions, 20 page views, if that makes sense for you. On average, we have 1.85 pages per session. We've got the average session duration, so 58 seconds people have spent on their website. Now, their website is just a single splash page, and there hasn't been a lot of action on there. So the more in-depth your website is, then the higher session times should be, because you're going to want people to go from different pages. Bounce rate. What a bounce rate is, and why you should monitor this, is did somebody just come to your homepage and leave? Did they not go to another page on your website? Did they just come there and what we call bounce off the site and go somewhere else? And there's a couple of reasons for that. One could be they just came across your site and it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Or 2, there wasn't a really distinct call to action or anything engaging on your homepage. So if you have a website that has several pages in depth and a lot of information under the menus, and your bounce rate is in the 80-90%, you need to look at what's on your homepage and you need to change that and see if your bounce rate goes down, see if your session times go up. So you're going to always need to look at this information monthly and make adjustments to your website to be able to tweak that and get more value out of the people coming to your website. This great little pie chart over here is showing you the ratio from new visitors, located in blue, to returning visitors, so people who have come back in that period. Once you scroll down, you've got some other statistics. So this is based on language. So who has their computer set to be U.S. English, Canadian English, Great Britain English, French, and so forth. So if you have a lot of your content, for example, is English on your website, and you see a lot of people coming with French, you should look at probably putting a French option on your website, and I bet you'll have a higher engagement rate when people can actually read the information that's on your site. You can break it down by demographics, so by country and territory, where are they coming from? You can see that information here. Break it down even further from city, so you can see where those people are going. And why would this be beneficial? So let's say you're going, like here in our area, we have something called Coffee News, and it's a little printed publication that shows up in coffee shops. And you can distinctly say, okay, I want to be in the Coffee News in a certain city or certain area. So if you start to run ads there driving people to your website, you're then going to be able to see, or you should be able to see, an influx or an increase of people coming from that area. So you're going to be able to tell, is that targeted advertising actually working for me? See why the benefits are there for that. Next, this is more so for the web designer. So what kind of browser are people being using when they come to your website? In this case, Safari and Chrome are the top 2, Internet Explorer, then Firefox. So when you're designing your website, you want to make sure that they are properly viewable in the top 4 or 5 web browsers that are out there. These are obviously going to be the top 4 that are around. Operating system. So Windows, iOS, so mobile. How many people are coming there from the mobile site? So this client here, actually, their website isn't mobile compatible. It isn't mobile friendly. It doesn't reformat for a mobile device. So number 2 and number 3 here being a lot where the traffic's coming from, that would be something I would recommend that they upgrade their website to, because they have a lot of people coming from there. Service provider, these would just be your internet providers that are providing the internet service. Operating systems for the mobile, again, that's going to be some more mobile statistics that are there. So now let's look down the left side. What would be some information that you would be getting? So you can go in here, you can go average session duration, sessions, users, page views. You can get this information out there, and you can see where they are from day to day. So this one is reporting daily on your bounce rate. So it had a decrease in bounce rates from yesterday to today of 47%. So that's good. Weekly page views are down 22%. So you can see those kind of information for you. The stuff that I really like to look at is looking at demographics. So you need to have this enabled on your website for these parts to happen. But what we're going to do is, I don't have it enabled on my website, or actually they don't have it enabled on theirs, so we can't see that at the moment, but I'll show you the types of graphs that you're going to actually get. So you can look at an overview here of ages. You can see the gender of the people that are coming to your website, and you can see their interests. So what types of interests do they have? And they're pulling this from profiles that they have on the Google network. So when you set up a Google account, most people have Google Pages accounts or YouTube accounts, it's going to take the information from your Google profiles and translate that through to the Google Analytics account. So this stuff becomes very helpful. More helpful when you're using it in Facebook advertising, because you're then able to target those people with your ads. That happens for all this different stuff that's here: interest, affinity, in-market, other categories, geography, language. It's just going to load here. So you can go in here and you can look at the language again, just like we saw in a snapshot on the front page. But it's going to show you again, of the people that bounced, what are the breakdowns of those, of the sessions, all this stuff. If you set up goals, and I'll show you what that means in a little bit, and goal values, that's really basing it on if you're running Google AdWords campaigns and you're driving people to your site to buy, how many people are actually coming there and actually buying, and then are those goals completed, and are you getting value out of it? So that's more advanced Google Analytics usage. We're not going to teach you in this quick webinar about those kind of statistics. Location, where are they coming from on the map? So you can see here, if you click on the map for Canada, it's going to break it down obviously now by the whole country and different provinces. I'm going to click on Nova Scotia. And then it's going to show you the breakdown here down below, just like the same way. So of Nova Scotians, how many people are bouncing. So why would this be beneficial? Well, if you have a really high percentage of bounce rates in, in this case it was Saskatchewan because it was only 3 people, but say you have a lot of visitors and a lot of users, and one province is bouncing really high. For example, if Quebec was the highest there, and it's one of the higher ones right now, mainly because probably this website, and I know it isn't, doesn't have French content on there, and a lot of people from Quebec would be looking for French content. So be aware of your audience and your demographic when you're setting up your website and what kind of information you're going to have there. Behavior, new versus returning. So you're new, again, the same type of statistics here, your bounce rates. So we got returning visitors bouncing higher than the new people. So the new people that are going there are actually looking for some more information, and when they come back, they're not finding what they want on the website. Frequency. So of the amount of people that are there, one session, majority 1,500 people, 2 sessions, and then it's going to work its way down from there. Then we got, it spikes back up of 10 people from 9 to 14, and 1 to 200 in 12. Now this would be probably made up of people that work there at the mall. and probably the web designer would bring these numbers up. So you're going to see these, if your numbers will diminish, that's going to happen in every website. But if there's a sudden drop like here to here, what this means to me from a web design standpoint, and from you if you're looking at your website, is I really have no reason for somebody to want to come back to my website. Okay? You naturally might get people to come back just to check it out, see if anything changed. But if nothing changed, and I looked at this, they came the first time because there was some marketing driving people there. They came back the second time to see if there was a change. No change, never came back. A few people came back. Okay, so if this dropped from here to here and then it just drops slowly, then you're doing probably a better job at having new and fresh content that's on there. If it stays consistent all the way down, then you've got a really awesome website, and I applaud you for having one of those. Let's look now at engagement. Now we're looking at the time. How long are people spending on your website? The best analogy I can put around why you'd want to know this information, and if you're not a statistics person, then you're going to be saying, geez, Sean, like, I don't have the time to go through all this information. What do I really need to know? Well, consider this. You can agree with me that if you have a store and somebody spends more time in your store, there's a higher chance that they're going to make a purchase. Would you say I'm correct? Most likely, yes, you would, and you would be correct. So if you're selling your products or services or educating people about what you do through your website, if you can keep them on your website longer, be more engaged, click on more links, there's a better chance they're going to be a customer, they're going to buy your product, your service, they're going to call you, they're going to email you, whatever it is you want them to do. If they're coming there and they're leaving within a minute, then really, they're not really getting the value out of what you want them to get out of your website. So that makes a lot of sense. Technology, browser versus OS. Now we looked at those briefly at the beginning, but it really helps you here because you put up your website, you notice a lot of people are coming from, here's an Android, and then you've got Safari in-app. You're getting people that are coming from mobile devices. So if your site's not mobile, which it should be, then you're going to want them to have your site modified for that. You can then break it down at the top by operating system. Right, so which operating system? Screen resolution. This one's key because you want to see the majority of people, how big is the screen setting? If, for example, you have your website built so that it's really large and it's formatted for a large screen, and you notice that the majority of people that are coming to your site are coming on a smaller screen size, that means they're needing to scroll left and right to view your website, and it's going to be a very bulky, a very unpleasant experience for them to use your website. So you want to make sure of this, that the majority of the people are using a screen setting that fits within your website. Screen colors, again, this would be more so for your web designing side of things. Flash version, so if you have Flash in your website, what is installed on their computer? Now, this is the point where people are like, wow, how much stuff are they actually monitoring? And then Java supports there. You can break it down other by site usage here as well. Let's just go back to browsers. So summary or e-commerce, which is going to be nothing really set up in here for that, for proper data collection. Network, these are the internet providers. High-speed internet, that's great. If you are in an area, so maybe you're very rural, and you notice that a lot of people are using a network that's mostly dial-up. Some of the rural farm areas still use dial-up. And then on your website, you've got a lot of graphics, you've got a lot of photos, some video. Really unpleasant experience for somebody on dial-up. For one, it's going to take forever for your site to load, so be aware of that. If it's an information site that's just giving out text information, then you're great on a dial-up because text doesn't take up a lot of data. Mobile. Again, we're getting some mobile statistics that are in here, desktop, mobile, or tablet. Coming into the design side, if people are using tablets a lot, it's a different experience from clicking and scrolling than it is for touching. Okay, so if you have a majority of people are using tablets to get to your site, make a lot of your clicks, your links to be actual images as opposed to in a menu, because people like to touch images on a tablet to navigate, so it's going to completely change the user experience for people. This one here looks like a really crazy type graph. And what this is telling us, this is the user flow. Okay. So this means that, the majority of people here coming from Canada, their starting pages, their very first time they've come to, and this is the slash here. Slash just means your home page. So 860 people there, 1.59 sessions went right there with 908 drop-offs, meaning they didn't go anywhere else. So then their first interaction, where did they go? Most people went to look at, in this case, I can tell by looking at this is their shops listing. So listing of all the stores that are in their website. So this first interaction, where did they go? Then it shows you again, how many people went there, how many dropped off after that. And then from there, where did they go? In this case, if we're looking at this here, went back to the home page. Okay, index is also the home page. And then maybe they clicked on the shops again, they went to the gift cards, they went to the contact page. So your site is going to look a little bit different in that information. So I'm going to actually go and look at, I'm going to bring up my site again and go into that report because I have different pages on my site than they have. User flow. So here I've got people that are coming in here to my home page. Some people have gone to some other blog posts. So I've got different entry points that are coming in here because I've got different links that are out there. So if you're writing blog posts and you're posting them directly in your social media, people are going to start out at different points in your website. They're not specifically going to come to your homepage. And then I've got where they're going to other sections of the site. You can actually go and look at this stuff, explore traffic through here. So you can see the flows that are going through your page and you can map it out, because ideally from a marketing side, we want to guide people through our website. We want to design it so that we are controlling where they're going through suggestive links, suggestive images, so they're going to get to the destination we want them to go to. Ultimately, we want them to purchase, but we don't want to have it flashing in their face as soon as they get there, hey, buy our product, buy our service, we are awesome, we are great, because that screams really annoying and it screams very egotistical of you to assume that people want to come to your website. Reality, about 20% of the people that come to your website want your product and service right now at that time, and they're just looking at a way to give you their money. The rest of the 80%, they're on the fence. They don't know if they want it. They don't know if it's going to do what they need it to do for them, or they're going to just get some information and compare you to your competitor. So you want to have it in place that you're going to educate them along the way. It's the same thing as when you bring somebody to a town the first time. You don't want to exactly just drop them off and let them fend for themselves. You're going to want them to get a tour, want them to introduce them to certain things, educate them about where to go, where to eat, where to stay away from, those kind of things. So it's going to be really great for that. Now let's look in the acquisition. This stuff, the acquisition is worth its weight in gold. So let's look at the overview for an acquisition report. So here we've got 4 different areas that you can acquire people to your website. You've got direct, which means they put in www.yourwebsite.com. A referral, which means that your website was linked on another website and they clicked on it from there. Organic search, they went to Google or any other search engine and they typed in something and found your website through that. Or social, they found it through social media links. So it's going to show you here the different ways that people found you from that, and then of those, how many people bounced from that reason. We're going to look at the different channels, which are the ones we just showed there, but in those same broken out details. All traffic. So now we've got the source. Where are they coming from? Why would this be important? Well, let's say you are paying to be listed on a directory and you're paying $100 a month to be on there. You're going to want to see if you're getting referrals from that. And this will happen automatically. It'll automatically log where those people are coming from. So you can come in this report, you can see, hey, let's say I was paying to be on this shade.ca site to run an ad, and I was only getting 6 people that are coming through there, and I'm paying like $500 a month. Okay, that might be unrealistic, but that's not so great. Okay, so I may not want to renew that contract to advertise from there. So you're able to see where those people are coming from. Referrals, where are the different referrals coming from as well. Campaigns. Now this is where you can set up different ad campaigns and track that information based on that. Now we don't have anything set up. That's an advanced side of Google Analytics, and we're not going to go through that in this quick webinar. Keywords. Now we've got different types of keywords. We've got organic. This would be what people have typed into Google to find your site. Okay, so in this case it was not provided. HI, don't know why that was coming up. Put in the actual website. So a lot of people have been, in this case, I would say that the brand for my company is recognized. People recognize the name because they're typing that into Google to find it in that period of time. Now, we had recently redone our website and redid our stats, so the numbers are low. But over the course of time, you're going to have a better idea of what it is that you're doing. For example, if we wanted to go back, let's just go back to June and put that in there. These numbers are obviously going to go up. If we had a lull here where it was missing when we were redesigning the site, so we had no stats being collected in that period of time. If you're using Google AdWords, it's going to ask you, do you want to track this by Google Analytics? It's going to ask you for your account, so those things will be in here based on campaigns that you're running. And there's a little video here that'll explain you how to do that. Now, I don't use those. Just going to close that. Look at social. Same type of stuff here. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Yelp. Where are these people coming from to your website? They're using these social networks. Shared URLs. So here we've got different URLs that we have posted on those different platforms. So these are blog posts. So it's going to show you what links have you actually outbound put on different social media platforms and which ones are returning the best results from there. A great way to do that and see if you're getting a return, see which posts are actually returning better results to your website. Network referrals. These are obviously based on time of day, which ones are coming from. This is getting into more advanced stuff for you. Then we've got search engine optimization, which you need to set up a webmaster tools to be data sharing. That's what your web designer is going to need to do. Landing pages, same type of stuff. So we don't have these set up. We're not going to show you what these do because we don't use them, but be aware that that stuff is here in your Google Analytics. Behavior. Again, where are they going when they come here? Home page, different other sub pages, search terms. Those are showing up here. There's nothing in this one. This one's going to be actually quite interesting. Under site speed, page timings. So I can tell you right now, this one here, which looks like it's really slow, and it is video portfolio. And the reason for that is that page on our website has probably about 10 embedded YouTube videos. So it's going to take a while for YouTube to load those and put them on the page. So it's going to be a slower one. So you're going to want to keep a track that you want to have a lot of your pages in the green because they're going to actually load really fast. And if there's a lot in the red, then you got to look at the content that's on there. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of images. Why is it slow? Maybe it's your hosting. Maybe you need to change that. So be aware of those kind of things. I don't know what shows up for speed suggestions in here. It's probably something we have to turn on. And it doesn't really show anything for that. So keep in mind those elements that are there. And in-page analytics, you got to actually have that stuff set up within Chrome for that. So what I suggest most people do is use where the acquisition, where is it coming from, what are the keywords, and what pages are people going to. Okay, those are going to be the key elements of this. If you want to know more, there's tons of training available for Google Analytics to show you how to go more in depth, how to set up custom reports that are in there. And track specific data for your website. If you don't have the time or you feel you won't have the time to come back and look at your analytics every day, then some of the stuff that you can do is when you come into this page right here, you can go up to the top and you can go email. You can set up where it's coming from. It's going to have your email account, but who's it going to? So maybe you need to send it to your boss if you're doing that, or you want to send it to yourself. Put in a subject line. I always recommend use a PDF. How frequently do you want it? Once, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? What day do you want to receive it? And in here, active for 6 months, a year, 12 months. If you do that, in this case, every week on Monday, it's going to email you a PDF snapshot of this. So you don't have to remember to keep loading your Google Analytics. It's coming right to your email. And it's going to show you exactly what it is that you're going to be doing and what you're getting for statistics. And if you see either a real spike or a real lull, then you can log in and you can look in more depth into that information that's out there. If you're doing a report and you need to report to somebody, you can quickly come in here right away and go export to PDF. It's going to export, you see right here. This is what it's going to look like. Should open here in a second. And there we go. There's a PDF report from that period, June 1st to August 27th, and shows you those statistics. So it's a great thing to bring to a presentation and see how your website is converting. So that right there in a nutshell is your Google Analytics. So like I said, this is a very basic overview of how to use Google Analytics and the stuff that's in there. As you can probably tell, they can track a lot of stuff, and not everything is used for everybody. I don't use a lot of the stuff that's in here, and most of my clients don't use a lot of the stuff that's in here. But the stuff that it can track is very valuable and very important to you, especially if you're looking to track your marketing dollars and where you're getting your traffic from. So check it out, and I strongly suggest you put it into your website. Go to googleanalytics.ca and add it to your website as soon as you can. Again, I want to thank you for watching this webinar. And again, if you haven't done so, please go to our Facebook page and like our page. Show us that, hey, thanks for taking the time to show me this. And that's really appreciative of you for doing that. So until next time, until our next webinar, I'm Sean Wynot from Blue Cow Creative. Thank you very much. And if you want to send us a suggestion, you can do it on your Facebook page. Say, hey Sean, I really want to know a little more about LinkedIn. I want to know a little bit more about Pinterest. Maybe you can do a webinar on that. That would be great. That would be awesome. And one other thing, if you like this kind of training to show you, is if you go to Canadian, you're going to come across a website that we operate here. I'll just pause this video so it doesn't play. And what it is a membership site. So we have a free membership where we've got a Facebook course in there. We've got other training stuff that we release. And we're eventually moving to a premium model where we're going to have full in-depth courses that are in there. And anybody that signs up early and gets in the door will get a special, awesome, grassroots, bottom of the barrel price to get all that premium content. So I strongly suggest you sign up here and get in there. No obligation. You're not going to be pushed or sold to, but you're going to get instant access to the stuff that's in there right now. So wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, have a great rest of your day, and remember to market smart, use your money wisely, and enjoy what you're doing. I'm Sean Wynot. Thank you very much.